motherfuckers.
Good morning, good night, whoever you are.
Yeah, no shit. My brain's not working that well today, but I'm working on it. I got some coffee, so hopefully that's gonna help. What was I gonna? No, I remember.
Start off?
Yeah, I do gotta start off. Oh yeah, that was my preach. I was just texting him, by the way. That being said, we got a song coming out soon, so y'all be looking out for that whenever I get back in the studio and get my part recorded.
Whenever they make it, it'll be released afterwards.
Right.
That's how music goes usually.
That's exactly how that works. It's been a crazy week. I'm not gonna lie, like my whole brain's been kind of stressed out this week. There's been like crazy ass people. The way people have been driving this week has been ridiculous.
Yeah, I was literally just telling you about how I almost creamed some lady turning onto the freaking highway.
I know, like that happened, and then what the fuck? Oh, no. So I like my pre-workout. This is what I was gonna tell you about. What I was like, I'm just gonna save it for the show. So like I had all my pre-workout pills and everything sitting there on the table, like. And I went and looked at them today. Like I went to take one and I looked at it and I was just like, what the fuck? All of them were just like torn up, like chewed up. And this wasn't today, actually. This was yesterday. But so I saw it and I was just like, what the fuck could I was like, I don't want to take these now because I can't tell what the fuck. Like somehow they just all exploded. Like what? Last night, this mouse was running around my fucking house like a psychopath. I swear he got in my fucking pre-workout. I was just like, holy shit. Like, I came home from work and I saw him, like, because I was going to take it out just so that I could, like, you know, I always, like, after work, it's like a ritual. Like, I take pre-workout and work out.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's generally
the normal thing to do with pre-workout, yeah.
Exactly. And I, like, do stuff around my house. Like, I fucking cut my grass, do whatever, you know, chores I got to do, shit like that. And I looked at it and I was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing this. So then, like, I dumped them all out. I was, like, hoping that, like, because it's an expensive-ass fucking supplement. So, like, I was hoping, like, whatever. But once I saw the way they were chewed up and shit, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Definitely probably not. And I've seen, like, a mouse around my house anyway, so I was just like, maybe the mouse did it and, you know, had a heart attack and died. No, like, it was probably, like, I don't know, like, probably. I want to say, like, at least 11 o'clock at night, and I saw this thing speeding around my house, dude. He was going so fast, but I brought I brought the weapon that I took him out with here today, so we're going to test that out later. And I let Katie pick the whole playlist tonight, so it's going to be hella punk rock.
With an emphasis on punk rock.
Yeah.
You were like, make a punk playlist, and I was like, you got it. And then I typoed, and I said, I'm going to make a Pink playlist, and you said, do you want to die?
Yeah, I did.
And honestly, like, I don't hate Pink. She's not the worst person. If we really want to talk about...
Says the girl with pink long hair.
She would, like, back when she had pink hair, that was her prime. Now, she sucks. I don't like her at all. But back in the day...
I don't know that I don't know if I could ever say that she sucked.
My mom too,
because
okay?
I never, I never listened to her. I mean, I know a couple of her songs for sure. Everybody does.
Being around my mother means you know a bunch of Fleetwood Mac and a bunch of Pink.
I don't know a lot of Fleetwood Mac
or
a lot of Pink. She didn't really listen to a whole lot of music when I was around her.
That's good for you. That's good for you.
Luckily I was generally always allowed to pick the playlist and the music and stuff. A lot of times she used to always want to listen to my music too back in the day when I was recording it and releasing it when I first started out, and it wasn't.
Yeah, she's being supportive.
Yeah, exactly. Well, she'd either be supportive or she'd be like, this is good, or she'd be like, this fucking sucks. Like, she would tell me the truth.
Yeah, she was pretty mean about some of the songs.
Yeah, I remember. I do remember that.
You know what, though? Constructive criticism. Look at you now.
True. That is true. But I don't even know if she's heard any of my other albums or if she likes them or not, to be honest with you.
I know she likes the newest one. I showed her that
last
week.
You?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Now that she's in town.
Right. Oh, she's actually in town? I thought she was in Louisiana.
Yeah, just decided to drive up from Louisiana without telling anybody, because that's my mom.
No, I know, but does she live out here?
Nope.
Oh, she's just hanging out for a while? I just figured she went back after Mother's Day or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she's just a free bird.
Oh, that makes sense. But, yeah, so I did take that mouse out. I wonder if we should just cover that whole. If we should do that right now, or if we should play music real quick and then do that.
Talk about the mouse, dude.
What, about how I killed it?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, so, like, I don't know how many people out there have ever hunted anything before. But once I saw this thing, I'll spaz the fuck out. Then it scared the shit out of me because I was like, whoa, there's a mouse in my house, and he's spazzing the fuck out. Like, I mean, he was really going.
I'm scared of this mouse right now.
Yeah, like, and the only real, like, I mean, you just gotta, like, I pretty much just turned all the lights off in the house and sat there with my dart gun, like, on the couch, and I put, like, food all over the floor. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I just put it all over the floor, and, like, smelly food, too, so we could smell it.
Like the cartoon-style cheeses with the holes all over your house?
No, but I did put some Cheez-Its on there.
Oh, okay.
I threw some Cheez-Its out there. I threw some peanut butter.
Mice like cheese, so...
Like, I put some peanut butter on, like, a little bitty, what do you call it? Like a Tupperware container. You know, the lid of a Tupperware container. I put some peanut butter on there. I threw some Chex Mix out there. I did, literally, like, this mouse had a whole feast, like, to get at. And... like, I turned all the lights out to where it was just, like, you could barely see. Like, especially with human vision. Like, you can't see that vision. Great. Yeah, like, I mean, a mouse could probably see pretty good, but I couldn't see what the fuck. I don't know anything about mice. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I'm just going off of assumption because I'm pretty sure they're nocturnal creatures, so, with that thought.
But that could still mean they're blind as hell.
They could be blind as hell, but regardless, they can smell pretty good, and they're right next to the ground. They don't use, it's not like they use echolocation like a bat, though.
Yeah, like a lot of snakes can't see, though. They just, like, slither around,
but they have thermal vision.
They taste things, too.
Yeah, but no, they got thermal vision. Like, they can see heat signatures. That's insane. Like, I'd almost rather have that kind of vision if I was just a hunter and I didn't care about the looks or fashion of things. If I was just a primal predator.
If I was not a shallow person, I'd
right.
love
If
to
I was
be
like,
snake.
well, I mean, if I was a primal predator, like, I would definitely rather have snake vision for sure. Like, that's pretty much. I mean, that's what the military uses to find people. But anyways, so if you want to kill a mouse, I found out. Oh, you got, like, I just laid on my couch. I had the TV on though, with the volume up and shit, but I wasn't watching it. I just put some really dumb shit on so that I wouldn't pay attention to it. And
so the mouse would think you were watching it.
Pretty much, yeah. So I thought I was distracted, I guess. I don't know. Like, I was just fucking doing one of those, like, I was winging it. Never hunted a mouse before. I didn't know. But I know every time I've ever seen a mouse, it's always when, like, I got the TV on, I'm laying down, I'm half asleep, and then it runs across the floor. And I'm just like, God damn it, that little bastard. And I try to run across the floor and try to kill it, and it never works. So I, like, really thought about it. And this time, yeah, I did everything that I would have normally been doing every time I've ever seen a mouse. But I had a dart gun on my stomach, like, as I was laying down, and I was watching the floor pretty much. Like, I mean, I was definitely, like, looking at the TV, but, yeah. I saw its little, so I go, I was just like, fuck, I forgot it's like a meth mouse, like, for real. But then I saw it, like, crawl up and start to move slower, and, like, I could see it. It was just, like, a little black dot, kind of, like, I mean, it was, like, a big black whatever thing on my floor. And I just, like, took the dart gun and, like, went like that. And I was, like, following it and waiting for it to stop. And then as soon as it stopped, I went and blasted him right in between the eyes, pretty much.
Baby mouse headshot.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna prove that too later on the show. I'm gonna show everybody how accurate that dart gun is if Kick-It doesn't mind that I shoot it. But, so everybody should, like, the whole vibe is about to be different. We're not playing any hip-hop tonight, I guess. It's all punk rock, so we're gonna play that right now, and then after that, we're gonna get into some other crazy shits.
Alright, this is Bloodstains by Agent Orange.
There you go.
They can make things worse for me. Sometimes I'd rather die. They can tell me lots of things, but I can't say eye to eye. I know they know the way I think. I know they always will. But someday I'm gonna change my mind. Sometimes I'd rather kill. Bloodstains, speed kills, fast cars, cheap thrills.
So, welcome to Punk Rock Night. That was a good start.
Yeah, it's all the most political songs I could find.
Yeah.
No, I'm totally kidding. That's just all punk rock.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, damn. Well, I got permission from Kick It, so at the end of the show, I'm gonna shoot the start gun. Prove everyone. Just so that you can all see that, yeah, you really could, like, hunt a mouse in your house with a dart gun if you tried to.
I don't think that's good advice. You know what? That's my bad advice this week.
What?
To hunt mice in your house with dart guns. It's actually Josh's bad advice this week, but
Yeah,
we'll go with it.
I never said it was good advice. I just
It's
said that you
terrible
can do
advice.
it. And you know what? If you really want to test yourself, like if you've never hunted anything and you're one of those people that's like afraid of the woods, just hunt mice and rats in your house if you live in the hood, you know? I mean, we know they come in regardless. You're going to get them no matter what. Doesn't matter. You can keep your house spotless and you're going to get a mouse in your house in the city for sure. And there's different ways of going about getting rid of them, and the best way, in my opinion, is not using a dart gun, because I've definitely found other ways to do it, but this way worked for me last night, so yeah. And just how effective and, yeah, fast it was, I don't know. Anyway, it worked. But if you want, you have to literally stay up and wait for a fucking mouse to come out of its hole, its little house. If you're hunting mice,
Cartoon-style mouse
yeah,
house.
like literally, like that's some Tom and Jerry shit. That's what I pulled. But anyways, other crazy shit that happened this week. Fucking, I got rear-ended while I was waiting. I was literally at like the Highway 55 South was flooded. I had been sitting there for 30 minutes, and then I got rear-ended randomly by the guy behind me. I was just like, what the fuck? And then he hit me like 3 more times, like after he hit the median.
That
like
was
trying to
during the
back
flooding,
out.
too. So
Yeah.
it was like heavy rain, so everybody was on high alert.
Exactly. So like the first thing I thought was like, oh, this is just some fucking psycho trying to get out because he's pissed off about like what's going on. No, it was just like this sweet old man who like accidentally his foot slipped off the brake onto the gas.
What?
Yeah, like, and then after it happened, he just was like trying to get out of it because he's like whatever and already, you know, was in the situation. But pretty much after I put my car in drive and pulled forward a little bit to give him more room because he couldn't figure out how to back it out and everything. And then he was convinced his car was like destroyed and wouldn't drive. I was like, dude, it's just your bumper, like it's fine. And we've spoke since then, and he told me his entire front bumper fell off, but his car drives fine. So, and obviously he went the legal route. Yeah, he went the legal route about it. But it was jacked up though, because the cops were like the cops literally showed up and screwed everything up. Like we all could have went. Like it wasn't flooded, nothing. Cops
yeah, when
showed
you were
up.
telling me that, I was like, I made it home in the
Blocked
15
the whole
minutes I
street.
normally do.
Yeah. Well, there was all of 55. Like every time you would go like under a bridge or under an underpass on 55, like in the city area, it was flooded like
Oh, yeah.
up to the
those are
tops of
lower.
your tires.
Got
Yeah.
it.
So that was the issue. So that was happening, and then somebody just abandoned their car like in the middle of the street, and that's why the cops were there off Bayless. And everybody, like me and the people that were at the front of the line, pretty much the people that drove through the water because we have 4-wheel drive vehicles and weren't afraid of the water. We were just like, can we go? Like, what are we waiting for right now? Like, there's enough room. Like, if you just tell that 18-wheeler to pull forward a little bit or move, like, we could just go past him. He's like, oh, you just got to wait. You just got to wait. I was like, okay, my 3-year-old's in the car. Like, hurry the fuck up. Then I hear all over the back of my car. That was, yeah, but
Come on.
at least the dude took care of it. At least he was cool about it. I mean, he really didn't have a choice. Like, I mean, he was stuck in between a bunch of cars.
Yeah, you really can't be mean and then just, like, be behind him in traffic still.
Right, exactly. So,
I don't think
yeah.
anyone's that.
He was shaking so bad. I thought he was going to have a heart attack. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of worried about that. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, yeah, he was
What a
shaking.
bad day he would have had, running
Yeah, no
into
shit.
people and having a heart attack on a highway that can't get him anywhere.
For real. Not to he was like, he said he was playing his saxophone at some bar or something up in the city. I don't know. I
That's
guess he's
cool.
a music player, obviously. So that's what's up. Shout out to that dude, even though
Don't know
he-
his name. Shout
yeah.
out to him.
even though he rammed into my car. But shout out for paying for it and being real about it, like not being a total dick. Could have been worse. So, yeah. But other than that, dude, I've had some really bad driving experiences all fucking week. Seriously, I've had people speed up to where I missed exits. I've had people literally people fly past me just to run red lights, and then like just so they could stop at the next red light because there was like somebody in front of them or a cop there or some shit. Like, it's just been, I don't know, the highway's been bad. I don't know what the issue is, but a lot of people aren't driving very good this week. Have bad driving experiences this week.
Just that lady pulling out into me. Other than that, the regular douchebags on Hampton.
Yeah. I was just saying, didn't somebody fucking do something tonight? On our way here?
I mean, that lady was like right behind me. It was making me upset.
Oh, I can't remember. Anyways.
I just complain a lot.
I'm just excited. Just excited to shoot this later. Anybody who wants to buy one of these, I'll give this place a shout out just because. If you go to Area 51, 45 caliber dart guns, they're like, I don't know. I can't remember how much they cost, but you can buy them at Area 51.
What a good shout out. Free plug, Area 51.
Yeah, and I'll show you how accurate they are at the end of the show. Whenever Kick It turns some cameras around and shit. But I guess we're going to play some music and then shit. I got a story to tell. Story I got to telling tonight is kind of crazy. But yeah, you might have nightmares. That's okay though. Anyways, we're going to play some music and we'll be back in a little bit.
I don't stand by what they say in the song. It's just
help me to reset my life and raise my expectations. Looking at reruns and memories repeating and all your ideals seem to self-defeating. So you're in your heart, a Pepsi generation. And when you're discontent, you change the TV station. And when you hate your life, they'll call it as a demon. A million brainwashed zombies will always hear it screaming. And when there is no hope, I spoke to crack, I shoot the dough. When there's no enemies, I'll sit and stare at my TV. And in my ignorance, I'll be a slave and syncopate. But now the war machines are mapping our destruction. Poisons over falling and chemicals of action. And when there is no hope, I smoke the crack, I shit to know. When there's no enemies, I'll sit and stare at my TV. And in my ignorance, I'll be a slave and syncopate. silent. Never find a man with a plan. Concrete to leather, concrete to leather, concrete to leather, concrete, concrete to leather, concrete to leather, concrete to leather, concrete. I'll shut my mouth. Let's talk it out. I'll shut my mouth. Let's talk it out. I'll shut my mouth. I'll shut my mouth.
All right, so I think we're live and everybody can hear me.
Yep.
Cool. Oh, man. All right, so the crazy ass story that we are gonna talk about tonight, I don't know, it's some out there shit, kinda. It's some weird shit. So these people moved out in the middle of nowhere. They bought this farmhouse and all that. They had and this guy, he was really passionate about his guns. He had a lot of guns and stuff, but as he was moving them in, his wife was like, no, I don't want. She was really anti-gun, which is kind of a key point of the story. It becomes a key point of the story later. But he was very pro-gun and she was very anti-gun, which is like kind of a weird thing. You wouldn't ever think of that happening or being a thing, but it was. So she was like, nope, I don't feel safe with guns in our house. You need to keep those out in the shed. You've got a huge garage out there. You can keep them out there and whatever. So his son and him went and they built like this badass safe pretty much. But building, whatever, you know, they built one that was not breakable.
How do you build a safe?
I don't know, you know, like part of me has wondered that, but there was a lock on the safe plus a lock on the garage. Like, I mean, I guess it was made out of steel. Either way, like his guns didn't get fucked with. Yeah. That's just one of the things, like they built a safe instead of buying one. That was just one of the things that the dude mentioned in the story that I'm referring to. So, so he locked his guns up, all that, and then him and his wife, they were older, and he had a son named Sean, I guess is the name, or at least that's the name that was provided, so we're going to go with that one. I don't even know if that's his real name. That could have been an alias for the whole story. I don't know the names of the other people, so I don't really care about their names anyway. But, so the son, he was at the house one time, and they saw these lights in the woods. And he had went, this was like, they had been living there for about a year. Him and his wife had like this ritual where around 7 o'clock as the sun was going down, they would go sit outside and drink coffee, which is...
Sounds nice.
Yeah, I guess, if you want to be caffeinated right before you try to go to bed.
Caffeine does not affect me like that. I could drink coffee and go to sleep.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at it from other people's points of view, because a lot of people drink coffee and makes them stay awake.
I mean, even tea at night, a lot of tea has caffeine in it. So,
yeah.
I mean...
I don't know.
We also all have, like, this crazy amount of tolerance to it at this point.
That's a good point. I was going to say, because, yeah, like, this cup of coffee has barely done shit to me other than make me a little bit more awake.
That's the extreme mocha, my friend.
Is it?
It is.
So you got the fucking major caffeine one?
Yeah, it's the only one I know you like, so
yeah,
that's
it is.
The one I get you.
But, so they have this thing where they go and they do that, and so the wife had originally thought she saw movement in the woods a couple of times before, but dude didn't see it, whatever. And then they saw lights, and he thought it was a poacher, so at first he went and grabbed his son and told his son, like, hey, go check this out, but then he was like, no, I'm gonna go with you. And then, so they've got, like, this huge pasture. They walk across the pasture, and then there's just this wood line. It's just dense woods. Same way with their driveway. When you're driving up to their house, like, you know, you go from one of those streets that's kind of like middle of the nowhere type of back roads, like, you know, like we know of down in Jeffco and shit like that.
Yeah, shout out West 4 Ridge, worst road.
Right. So, like, one of those type of areas, and then they get to the tree line, and they were just like, well, you know, like, they didn't take any guns with them or anything. They just figured it was a poacher. They were like, we're just going to walk through the woods a little ways, and we're just going to yell, like, this is private property. They get, like, 15 feet into the wood, or 15 meters into the woods, you know, and then, like, they noticed as they were walking, they could hear something else walking about 15 meters away from them, and every time they stopped, it would stop. And this is, like, classic, like, cryptid shit, too, which is weird. Like, this is, like, in almost every cryptid story, that same type of behavior. So, they were like, all right, fuck this, like, I'm not dealing with this shit. And but they also, knowing that it was more than likely a predator, they just turned around, they walked to the edge of the woods, and then they walked back across the pasture instead of running. Because if you run, that could it triggers, like, a prey-predator instinct in a lot of predators, to where they'll chase you whether they want to or not. Like, they just makes them do it. So they walked back to the house or whatever. And then their daughter and her husband, I guess, they were staying there for a weekend, and they went out into the woods. Dude was a pretty experienced outdoorsman, whatever. They went about 50 meters into the woods or whatever, and he found this mound, him and the chick did, and they had their dogs, and they let the dogs off the leashes. Once they got to the wood lines, the dogs ran straight to it, and that's how they found it, is they followed the dogs to it, but the dogs, like, stopped. And once they got to it, they went back to the people and were, like, freaked out, stuff like that. And the dude, like, he saw it, and he realized there was like a tunnel, or like a hole, you know what I mean? And he walked up to it, and he, like, kind of, like, poked his head into it, and he heard, like, a growl, and he just was like, all right, fuck this. Just didn't say anything, didn't tell his girlfriend anything about it. It was just like, yeah, no, we need to go. And they just immediately all left. They put the dogs back on leashes, they left.
That was probably a good move.
Yeah, it was, for sure, because they lived and they were fine. So then...
They lived to tell the story.
Right. So, but they hadn't really said anything to nobody. And, like, the dude, I don't know, the dad, that's what we're going to call him, the dad. The dad and the son, you know, they hadn't really told anybody about what happened when they went chasing after the lights or whatever that one night. And then finally, I guess it came up at some point, like breakfast, dinner, whenever the fuck people talk about shit like that. You know, like, it came up and...
A little casual conversation, you know?
Right, and the dude, the boy, or whatever the fuck, what was he? The fucking brother-in-law? Yeah, I guess he would have been a brother-in-law, or the daughter's husband, whatever you want to fucking call him. He was like, yeah, when we went out in the woods, we found this mound, and it actually looked more like a den, like you could tell it was built, you know what I mean, by something. And then they were like, yeah, we had a similar experience where, you know, they corroborated stories and shit like that. So then after that, I can't say for sure exactly. I'm pretty sure it was just the husband and wife, and they were sitting on the porch drinking coffee and hanging out pretty much. And something happened where somebody went to the tree line again and then bolted back to the house type thing. And I'm not sure what the situation was in particular one. But then after all that shit, you know, it died down, whatever, sun started to go down, shit like that. They're sitting outside, you know, drinking coffee, doing what they do. And then the wife was just like, do you see that? Talking to the husband. And the husband was just like, what are you talking about? And, like, there was, like, movement at the tree line. And then all of a sudden, like, these 5 animal type creatures, they don't really say what the fuck they looked like. They don't really say. They just say that animal type creature. Really large animals. More of, like, a canine type animal. Came out of the woods and were just sitting in the grass, like, in their prairie, like, you know, I mean, a good-ass distance away from their house type shit. And the dude got off the porch and started yelling and trying to scare him off, and when he did, they started charging at the house. And he had, like, some type of disability. He was older and shit, so he had some type of disability where he couldn't really run that well or move that well, I guess. At least he couldn't move very fast. So he wasn't very far away from the house, but him, the wife and daughter, I guess, all ran inside. Slammed the door, all that shit. The wife went upstairs. They turned out all the lights. They locked everything up, shit like that. She told the daughter to get in her bed and turn the lights out and close the door and lock it. And then ended up going in that room and sitting with her daughter. And while they're looking like through the windows and shit, and they see these 5 figures of whatever the fuck these are just sitting on their gravel driveway. Like, I don't know, about 10 meters from their house. And, like, the husband, he's just downstairs. He's just, like, walking back and forth, like, trying to decide what to do or whatever. And he's, like, peering out the windows. He's trying to see whatever. And then finally, after about an hour or so, he peers out the window and he notices that they're no longer in the driveway. They went back to the grass, like, where they were standing at the grass. And he was thinking in his head, he's like, well, you know, if I try to run to the garage, which was... he must have really been disabled, like, to not be able to run to the fucking garage and unlock the damn thing and then close it and lock it and get guns. But, yeah, so I guess he had another idea because of his disability, and that was to try to sneak out and go to his car, back it up to the house, and then have them come out and jump in the car and just leave. Like, that's how scared they were of these things. That's how big they were, apparently.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah. It gets worse. It gets worse.
Get ready.
Yeah. But, so, as he's going over these options in his head, he just he doesn't say anything to his wife, doesn't say anything to his daughter. He just is like, you know what? I'm going to go to my truck. I'm going to get it. I'm going to back it up to the fucking front or whatever, and I'm going to go inside and tell them, and I'm just going to be really sneaky, and they're not going to know. Like, the animals aren't going to know. I don't know why the hell he thought that was going to work, because, like, for once, like, even if he would have got his truck started and backed it up to the fucking doors of the house, like, they don't know what the fuck you're doing. You didn't tell them. You just went and did it. So what if you were sitting in the truck and they were, like, upstairs, like, fuck is he doing? And then what happened after all that? He'd have really felt dumb. But so he leaves his house, and he's looking at the creatures. He's looking at them, and it's like they're not paying attention to him. And the wife even reported, like, she was saying that when she was looking at him through the window, she noticed that one of them, like, stood up on 2 legs and was looking at her. Just gnarly. This is like a real account. They called the police. It's been reported, all that. So that's the other part that's weird. They don't know what the fuck it was. You know what I mean? They just blamed it on bears. But
just 5 forest creatures.
Yeah, well, they just said it was bears. But I've never heard of 5 bears ganging up, like, as a pack.
Sitting in one spot that long.
And
together.
hunting somebody. I mean, that's wolf-like behavior. I've heard of wolves doing that. But... and maybe they were just really big wolves, and I don't know.
Why is the wolf standing up on 2 feet?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the other thing. Like, they don't give a very good description of what the animals were in this in particular account. I've heard, like, multiple accounts of the story, but, like, this one doesn't actually give much of a description, so that's the reason why I go with it, just so that people can kind of make their own visualization of what it could possibly have been. But, so anyway, dude sneaks out of the house. He goes to his truck. He's trying to get into it. Then all of a sudden, the motion light sensor on his garage turns on. And he immediately drops the key. And he looks at the 5 things. He's got, like, a direct view at them, because where his porch is at and the door that he went through and everything to the garage and all that, like, you've got a direct view of where they're at. And he realized they all see him, and they all start sprinting back towards him. So instead of going, I don't know, dude, I'm not gonna lie, if I was him, I would have just went for the garage. Like, at least you know you got guns in there. At least, I don't know, because you're right next to it. You're like, as far as I could tell from the makeout of that house and the way that it sounds, I mean, he's about 5 meters from the garage and 15 from his house, so he could have just unlocked the door to the garage, gotten there, locked it, and then went to his gun safe and tried to pick these things off, depending on what they were, for real. But he decided to run back to his house. So he runs back to his house, and then they're all sitting on the gravel driveway again. And they called the police. They tried to get the cops to come out. The cops didn't believe them.
I don't think I'd believe them.
I wouldn't either. I'd be
There
like,
were 5
what?
figures, and they were menacing. Like, okay.
Right. So they had so the way their house was set up, they had like on the second floor, they had like a walkout porch that went around their house. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Yeah,
Like on the
Southern
yeah,
style.
exactly. It was one of those like old freaking Southern style houses where it's like the second floor you could walk out from the different bedrooms, and it had like a porch that wrapped around the entire second floor. So they had one of those, and so the things ran, and at first they were there, and then they all went up to he went up to the second floor. He was like telling them, don't move, don't do that. They had all the lights turned out, they had everything, windows drawn, all that shit. And like they started hearing these things on their front porch, like walking around, like they could hear them, and they heard them scratching at the door. Like they could hear like not just like regular like some dumb horror shit, like legit just like ripping at the door,
Scratchy.
trying to like rip, I don't know, I guess like burrowing into it, so to speak.
I hate that.
Yeah, and then they heard a couple like loud thumps, and like they heard scratching like going up the walls or whatever, like the outside siding of the house. And because it was all made of wood, so if you had claws you could climb it, I guess. I would assume, I don't know.
Josh's quote of the day: if you had claws, you could climb it.
Yeah. Or if you were a good climber.
Or if you were into that.
Yeah, if that's your thing, But so, and then all of a sudden they hear these things walking around the second floor patio of their house, like walking around. They hear the scratching, all that shit, like just stuff digging into stuff, like different shit or whatever. But they ended up sitting it out for the entire night, pretty much. And then they kept calling the police, trying to get them to show up, trying to get them to come. The cops, eventually the cops finally were just like, because they called them so much. Originally they had called 911, and the 911 people thought it was a prank. So then they, after calling 911 a couple of times, I guess they just, I don't know how that worked out. I don't know if like they somehow looked up like had a yellow book and looked up the police department's number. I don't know. Or if they just were like, okay, well, can we call the fucking police department in this area? Then since you don't want to fucking take our report, like, I don't know how they went about that. But the police department finally came out there at around like early in the morning, pretty much. And they said that when they heard the sirens, they heard all the scratching and the feet, and they said it was all bipedal too, which is weird because that's like, walking on 2 feet, not 4. But they said once they heard the sirens and could see the police lights and shit, they heard like all the sounds stopped. They heard like 5 loud thuds, and then that was it. And then the cops showed up, and the cops legitimately were freaked out when they showed up because of all the scratch marks, and just it looked like something was trying to burrow through the walls, like literally, like really trying hard to get in. I guess these animals didn't understand that glass is pretty fucking easy to break, but because I would assume they had pretty easy to break windows somewhere. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know their house.
Yeah, I don't
But
either.
there's probably a window somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of Southern style houses, I think of big windows. But I guess if they had the curtains drawn, the things may not know what the fuck it was. Who knows? Depends on how intelligent they were. But so yeah, the cops get there, they see all this shit, they're just like, what the fuck happened here? Like, why didn't you guys call us? Type shit. And they were like, we tried and all this. But in the report, it's all there, like everything that I just said's in the report. The things tried to dig into the house, pretty much, or tunnel their way into the house, or what. I don't know how to really truly explain that. But these people just had to sit there for I don't know. So 7:30, I guess, was around the time when it started, and then by the time it ended, would have been 5:30 in the morning. So 14 hours, pretty much, just dealing with that terror. Probably didn't hit him for the first 4 hours, so probably like 10 hours though, just dealing with that shit. I don't know what the fuck I would have done for real. And there was one other detail where the fucking dogs. They were worried about the dogs because they weren't sure if they were outside or inside, and they found the dogs both in a closet. Like, the door was open, obviously, to the closet, but the dogs were like cowering in the closet the entire time. They didn't want to go outside.
Aw. At least they were safe.
Yeah, no, nothing happened to the dogs. Dogs lived, people lived, all that. And the people, like, immediately moved out, like, literally the next day after that. They moved out. They just left. Like, they didn't say shit,
I think
whatever.
I would leave. That's always when I watch the scary movies and there's something going on, I'm like, just leave the house. So I feel like I have to be that person now if something happens while I'm living somewhere that I know I can't, like, deal with in some way.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right.
Just be like, all right, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah.
I get
like
that.
Like Amityville Horror.
I mean,
that's
moved
fucking
out.
For
sure.
They should have
yeah.
moved out then. Like, why did you let it go that far? Every single Amityville Horror, too. Not even just the original.
Boy, yeah. I mean,
they're all just like, oh, there's some signs there. There's some signs. Now your whole family's dead.
Yeah, I mean, those movies are fucking nuts, like, in that situation. But that's, like, where the people in the family get corrupted. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying,
right?
Though. You saw the signs of him being corrupted. It's every single movie, it's the husband that kills the entire family, or tries to.
Right. I don't fucking know. Like,
we gotta have an Amityville Horror Night.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're gonna have to have that. The only one that I remember... only one that I remember was the one that had, like, the original, obviously, and then the one that had Ryan Reynolds in it.
Ryan Reynolds' one was good.
Yeah, that was the one that I remember. That's the one that I remember the most, or whatever, just because of the simple fact that, like...
Yeah, but even in that movie, like, there was a good 30 signs.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not saying there weren't, but...
And she could have been like, all right, we need to at least take a vacation. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, we should definitely watch all those and go through that, because I'm gonna have to see what you're saying, because I haven't
even
seen
Pet
it in a while.
Cemetery. Pet Cemetery, the moment I get there and they were like, hey, we've got a cemetery for our pets. Like, I can't live here.
Right, yeah, no, Pet Cemetery was the original one.
Your vibe is off. I can't live here, your vibe's off.
The original one was fucking nuts. Like, that old dude that played that, yeah, he was creepy enough on his own, and then just the fact that it's like you live, like, right next door to a highway where the shit, like, fucking... You got 18-wheelers going like 90 miles an hour down the damn road, and it's a 2-lane road. Like, that's just a bad place to live to begin with.
Yeah, that's fair.
But, yeah. So, that's how that went. They moved out, all that shit. That being said, see if I can get Kika to let me test out this dart gun real quick.
Do you want to play some music while you set
We're going to play some music while we set this up.
Alrighty.
just learned today. Counting my throat with just a value day. That's our sense spread along the way. The devil lives a passion at two ways. If I sell my heart on my sleeve, don't drop the bomb on me and I'll wake up. I can only fix much of my slave. I can only drink so much this empty cup. I know I lost nothing but thoughts. I'm always beating to the punch. I'm holding aces high and low and in between. I'm trying to break my phone. Piece of what you got, I'm making you and with much less thought. It's symbolic and full of trash. Lofty and demons whispered under the bird. 5 lessons remembered yesterday. Easing my mind and seizing each new day. Beyond and back I'm still the same. Kicked off the some old track but I still wait. I still wait. I still wait.
Alright, so Kicker's about to film me shooting this cup. I got 2 shots, even though I know it's only going to take 1.
In the meantime, we can play some shooting music.
Which camera's pointing towards it?
One moment, sir.
I got you. I'll be out.
Oh, okay. You're just doing it yourself. All right, cool.
You got some background music?
Yeah, we can play Drunk and Disorderly.
Watch the red cup.
Bunny rums to the RSL, 3 BBs at the aerodrome, 2 lines of cack in the car park, 1 long neck for the drive home. Drunk and disorderly, drunk and disorderly, drunk and disorderly, drunk and disorder. Balls with the gin at the bus stop, 3 pints of Guinness at the bowls club, 2 750s in a double brown bag, 1 shot of fireball at the pub. Oh! Drunk and disorderly, drunk and disorderly, drunk and disorderly, drunk and disorder. Relaxation, mood alteration, boredom leads to intoxication. Relaxation, mood alteration, boredom leads to intoxication. Drunk and disorderly, drunk and disorderly, drunk and disorderly, drunk and disorderly. Things don't seem to be as easy as they used to be. It's getting harder every day to think of better things to say about what's going on around you and what's happening inside you. When it's time to change, you won't know how. It won't matter years from now. No matter what you think or do or say.
There you go, for anybody who thought I couldn't shoot a fucking mouse. That's a great fucking cup to just have. That's a great prank cup. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
You could give it to somebody and be like, yeah, pour your drink in here and just watch it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm saying?
Sounds like alcohol abuse.
A little bit.
Either way, dude, that was double or nothing. I got it both times perfectly, so I did pretty damn good, I think.
Small golf clap.
Yeah, you get that dinger.
Feel free.
There you go.
You got 2 points.
Feel free to try.
Next question.
Right. Anyways, so now that we proved that point, yeah, if you want to hunt a mice, go to fucking, or hunt a mouse, go to Area 51 and buy you a fucking dart gun. With that thought, I guess we're done for tonight, dude. I need to go to bed. You want to play the outro song?
Alright.
What's your outro song? You can tell everybody GoodNightMares and fucking, yeah, have a great DMT trip.
Obviously, the last song I'm going to play, if I did a punk rock playlist, is going to be Hybrid Moments. So that's what it is.
All right.
Adios, world.
Good night. Mary.
If you're gonna scream, scream with me. Moments like this never learn. When new creatures rip your face, habits open up the door. Oh baby, when you cry, your face is momentary. You hide your looks behind this skirt. Been having moments, give me a number. Give me a moment, give me a moment. Oh baby, when you cry, your face is momentary. You hide your looks behind this skirt. Been having moments, been having moments.